Hey everyone, welcome to IELTS Pioneer. I'm super excited you're here because in today's video, we're diving into Speaking Test 1 from Cambridge IELTS 19. And guess what? I'm going to show you Band 9 sample answers step by step. So stick around, this is going to be good. Let's jump right in.
Let's talk about international food. Can you find food from many different countries where you live?
Yes, absolutely. Living in New York City, I have access to an incredible variety of international cuisine. Whether it's authentic Italian pasta in Little Italy, fresh sushi in a Japanese restaurant, or Middle Eastern street food, there's something from nearly every culture. This diversity is largely due to the city's multicultural population and its reputation as a global hub.
How often do you eat typical food from other countries?
Quite regularly, actually. Since I live in New York City, where international cuisine is practically everywhere, I often find myself trying dishes like Thai curry, Mexican tacos, or Japanese ramen. I enjoy exploring different flavors, and I think food is one of the most enjoyable ways to experience other cultures. So whenever I go out with friends or order takeout, I usually go for something global rather than sticking to traditional American food.
Have you ever tried making food from another country?
Yes, I have. Since I really enjoy cooking, I often try dishes from different cultures. For example, not long ago, I made homemade sushi. It was exciting, but also a bit challenging, to be honest. Experimenting with international recipes lets me explore new ingredients and cooking techniques, which is always interesting.
What food from your country would you recommend to people from other countries?
I would highly recommend trying a classic American burger. It's an iconic dish that perfectly represents American cuisine. Simple, flavorful, and incredibly satisfying. And what makes it special is the endless variety, from gourmet versions with premium ingredients to traditional diner-style ones. Beyond just the taste, the burger embodies American culture, from backyard barbecues to fast food chains, making it a must-try for visitors.
In the next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you want to say. You can make notes if you wish.
One law that I think was an excellent idea is the ban on smoking in indoor public places in the United States. This regulation was introduced gradually, with different states implementing it at different times, but by the early 2000s, it had become a widespread policy across the country. The main reason for its introduction was to protect public health by reducing exposure to secondhand smoke, which had been proven to cause serious illnesses like lung cancer and heart disease. Before this law, smoking was common in restaurants, offices, and even public transport, making it difficult for non-smokers to avoid inhaling harmful smoke. This legislation was largely driven by health organizations and government officials who wanted to create cleaner and safer environments. One of the most significant benefits was the improvement in air quality in enclosed spaces, which made public places much more comfortable for everyone, especially for those with respiratory conditions like asthma. Additionally, it encouraged many smokers to quit or cut down because they could no longer smoke as freely as before. Over time, this led to a decline in smoking rates, which had long-term positive effects on public health. From my perspective, this law was an important step in changing societal attitudes toward smoking. In the past, it was widely accepted, but after this policy was enforced, people became more conscious of its dangers. Now, it's rare to see someone smoking indoors, and that's a huge shift compared to a few decades ago. It has also influenced other countries to adopt similar measures, proving that such regulations can have a global impact. Overall, I believe this law has made public spaces healthier and more enjoyable for everyone, and it's one of the best policies introduced in recent times.
Now let's move to part 3. Let's talk about school rules. What kinds of rules are common in a school?
Well, most schools have a few common rules to keep things disciplined and, create a positive learning environment. Firstly, there's usually a dress code to ensure students dress appropriately and minimize distractions in the classroom. Secondly, being on time is a big deal. Schools are pretty strict about punctuality because, it helps students develop responsibility and time management skills. And finally, most schools have strict anti-bullying policies to promote a safe and inclusive atmosphere. Like some even have anonymous reporting systems so students can speak up without worrying about consequences. So yeah, these rules are super important because they foster respect, structure, and honestly, just a better experience for everyone at school.
How important is it to have rules in a school?
You know, rules in schools are absolutely necessary because without them, it would be really hard to maintain order. What I mean is that if students weren't expected to follow any guidelines, classrooms would probably become disorganized and learning would suffer. One major reason rules matter is that they help create a structured environment where students can concentrate instead of getting distracted by, say, disruptive behavior. Another key point is that they encourage fairness. When expectations are clear, everyone is held to the same standards, which prevents conflicts. Also, by following school rules, students get used to respecting regulations, which is a skill they'll definitely need in the workplace later on.
What do you recommend should happen if children break school rules?
I would say that when children break school rules, it's really important to respond in a way that's fair and helps them learn. For smaller things like talking in class or not paying attention, a quick reminder or even a little detention might be enough to help them reflect on their actions. However, for more serious issues like bullying or cheating, stronger measures need to be taken, such as involving parents or offering counseling. The key point is, it shouldn't just be about punishing them. The child has to understand why the rule exists and what impact their behavior has. Actually, using these situations to teach responsibility and respect for rules is much more valuable. It's all about helping them learn from their mistakes and grow, rather than just giving them a consequence for the sake of it. This approach could really make a positive difference in their development.
And let's talk about working in the legal profession. Can you suggest why many students decide to study law at university?
Good question. A significant number of students choose to study law since it's a degree that opens up so many doors. One major reason is that law provides a solid foundation for various career paths, not just in legal professions, but also in business, politics, and even journalism. Another thing is that some students are truly passionate about justice and want to make a difference in society. By becoming lawyers, they get the chance to fight for people's rights or even influence legislation. On top of that, law is often viewed as a prestigious and intellectually demanding field, which makes it attractive to those who enjoy critical thinking and problem solving. What's more, let's be honest, the financial rewards in this profession can also be a motivating factor.
What are the key personal qualities needed to be a successful lawyer?
To thrive as a lawyer, a person needs a mix of intelligence, communication skills, and strong ethics. One key trait is critical thinking. Lawyers must assess complex cases and craft solid arguments. Another essential quality is articulation. If they fail to express ideas persuasively, they might weaken their case. Therefore, resilience is crucial because legal work is demanding, both mentally and emotionally. Without perseverance, they could struggle to handle pressure. At the end of the day, it's not just about knowing the law, but also about having the right mindset to navigate challenges effectively.
Do you agree that working in the legal profession is very stressful?
Without a doubt, working in the legal profession is highly stressful. Lawyers often deal with tight deadlines, intense negotiations, and high-stakes cases, all of which demand immense concentration. Moreover, the pressure to win cases or provide sound legal advice can be overwhelming. Consequently, maintaining a work-life balance becomes a challenge, leading to burnout for many professionals. That being said, those who are passionate about the field and develop strong coping mechanisms can manage the stress more effectively. In the end, while the job is undeniably demanding, the intellectual challenge and sense of achievement make it worthwhile for many.
The reason why this was a Band 9 speaking response, broken down by each of the 4 criteria. 1. Fluency and coherence, very natural and effortless flow, no unnatural pauses or hesitations, excellent use of discourse markers, ideas are well developed and logically connected. 2. Pronunciation, clear, natural rhythm and intonation, word and sentence stress likely used effectively, no mispronunciations that would affect understanding. 3. Lexical resource. Wide range of precise and high-level vocabulary, natural use of idioms and collocations, topic-specific vocabulary used accurately and appropriately, no noticeable repetition or word searching. 4. Grammatical range and accuracy, excellent control over complex grammar structures, variety of sentence forms such as conditionals, passives, relative clauses, modals. Tense usage is accurate and consistent, no grammar errors.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more IELTS tips and practice. Ace your IELTS with IELTS Pioneer.